One detail bothered me before the first elimination. The prize is a private jet, but almost nothing in the setup explains why these particular challenges should identify the person who deserves one. That's the central claim hiding underneath the spectacle. If enough pilots compete long enough, the winner somehow feels inevitable. I'm not convinced the video proves that. The opening establishes the aircraft, the massive cast, and the promise that no one could predict the ending. That's effective suspense. But suspense is not evidence. The contest immediately asks us to confuse unpredictability with legitimacy, and those are very different things. Early rounds turn into fast eliminations built around reaction games and physical coordination. Those moments are entertaining, but they quietly redefine the competition. It stops being about aviation judgment and becomes a general elimination show featuring people who happen to be pilots. The title keeps borrowing credibility from the profession even when the tasks don't. The strongest evidence the video offers is logistical, not intellectual. Getting so many qualified participants into one competition is genuinely impressive, and the footage makes the scale believable. Yet the production rarely pauses to explain why each challenge measures anything beyond adaptability under television pressure. This is where the evidence gets interesting. The luxury objects, the briefcases, the escalating rewards, even the visual language around gold and exclusivity all encourage the audience to focus on ownership instead of reasoning. The emotional leverage is obvious. If the prize feels extraordinary, every elimination feels meaningful whether or not the challenge actually justifies it. One of the better moments comes when contestants interact around the aircraft itself. Those scenes remind you these are real professionals, not anonymous reality show contestants. Ironically, they also expose what's missing, because seeing genuine aviation expertise makes the unrelated games feel even more disconnected from the video's implied test. As the field shrinks, the competition becomes more emotionally readable. People celebrate, lose, negotiate pressure, and visibly feel the consequences. That's authentic enough to carry the middle section. My hesitation is that emotional intensity begins replacing analytical clarity. The audience is encouraged to ask who survives, not whether survival still reflects the premise promised in the title. The strongest part of the argument is also its biggest vulnerability. By refusing to over-explain the rules, the pacing stays fast. But that same choice reduces transparency. We see outcomes far more often than we see why particular rules deserve authority. That doesn't make the competition unfair. It makes fairness harder to evaluate. When the ending arrives, it succeeds because the video invested in uncertainty from the beginning. I understand why the final result lands emotionally. What I don't think the video fully earns is the feeling that the winner emerged from a meaningful examination rather than a carefully designed entertainment format. That's a smaller claim, but it's the one actually supported by the footage. So my conclusion is mixed. As large-scale entertainment, this is remarkably disciplined. The logistics, contestant management, and sustained tension are difficult to dismiss. As an argument that these challenges meaningfully identify the right person to receive a private jet, the evidence does less work than the narration and title encourage you to believe. If you separate those two goals, the video becomes easier to appreciate and easier to question at the same time. If you enjoy pulling apart the assumptions hiding underneath huge internet spectacles instead of just reacting to them, stick around. The next breakdown will probably start with another clue everyone else scrolled past.